Hi guys. I'm just not sure what I'm going to even talk about. Today is Sunday, the 13th of August, and we went to church with Dad today. Anyway, it was interesting that the talks the subjects that they talked about were right in there with my papers that I just talked about myself. But the papers I wrote 40 years ago and 30 years ago and so forth. Um, anyway, all about sharing the love. Share the love, you know. That's what we're supposed to do. So I thought that was interesting. I get my stuff from good places, huh? But I grew up in the church. Like I said in another paper. I don't think it was a paper. I was just talking. When you're raised in the church and everybody's participating and nobody's getting paid, and everybody takes turns, and you learn by the experience of giving with the word, on the job training. Because all those jobs in the church, teachers, presidents, counselors, all kinds of things, they're rotated, and everybody gets to take a chance on doing it, and you learn by doing. And you fellowship, and there are great things about the church, really. And you're like, I played basketball, I played volleyball, I played softball, I did all kinds of things with the church, within the family. And then it's really organized because there's like stakes, regions, and like tournaments and all kinds of stuff. Did I say I played volleyball? Anyway, I did more with the church than I would have gotten a chance to do somewhere else. But I did. I think I was raised by Jesus, okay? I think it's a great thing. It's a great thing. The great magician himself. If you believe, there's power in believing. Faith is where the power is, dude. If you believe, and then it needs to be the right thing. Anyway, I don't have as much faith as I would need to move a mountain or to plant something somewhere else, pick this tree up and plant it somewhere else, but that seems kind of silly. It's not what I would want to do. I feel like my voice is gone. It's this thing in my ear, okay? Okay, I'm going to take that out. I wanted to listen to my videos. I've been watching my own videos. I am mesmerized with myself. But I'm really liking it. And it's spontaneous, and it's on the spur of the moment. I didn't know what I was going to do here. I figured I'll get on here, and if I stumble around, then I can just delete. But it is interesting. I just don't like losing my voice. I need to take and write down notes because I keep having all these thoughts of things I need to talk about, but each thought takes a bunch to talk about. So I can just see massive books all over the place. But books are hard to read. So I figure audiobooks, hey, that'd be cool. Anyway, and it is true. I like to put something, in the old days we'd put a cassette tape in, and you're going on a long trip and you listen to an audiobook. It's pretty cool. So you guys could listen to me. That is if I have something to say. Right now I'm kind of rambling. And I know I do that quite a bit. I kind of like it. And I'm going to get me a tripod so I don't have to hold it. It is nice and tranquil out here. It's a little bit warm though. I'm not really liking the warm. If you wanted a sauna, actually I'm not perspiring. No, I can't think of right now what I'd want to talk about. There's all kinds of things. Most important thing we already discussed, just know who you are. And that was another thing that was reiterated today. It's most important that we know where we come from and maybe where we're going. Now, where we're going, we have to rely on faith, prayer, the scriptures, and the Lord does talk to you. Serious biz. That is what the Holy Ghost is. Jesus couldn't give it until he left, okay? So that's his spirit. He's given us his spirit while he can't be with us. That's what he told the apostles, okay? I can't give you the comforter until I'm gone. I'm going to reiterate another scripture you guys can just chew on, those of you that are into scriptures. And I'm not sure where it is. I don't know if I'll remember it by the time I try to tell you. Because I have fleeting moments. If I remember, I'll put it in the footnotes. I have a scatterbrain, that's for true. And there's many things, just so many things are all intertwined, and so one little thread can lead to other threads. That's why I never get where I'm going. And that was what I was talking about, was finding out where you're going. You can find out because he talks to us, okay? Those who believe. I read in the scriptures too that prophecy follows those who believe, okay? And you can't prophesy for other people, but you can prophesy for yourself and your family, or maybe even further. I can't say what you can't do. But I've heard that because in one of the papers I read, the powers of God gives them to his children. Prophecy. It said, a person of prophecy like unto me, and many that I know personally. For some reason, back then, I met a lot of people that had special gifts. And this was up in Washington, okay? I moved away from Washington in 1991. But a lot of magic was going on up here. Now, I've been told by people who think they're witches and warlocks that they thought I was a witch. Because I'm very intuitive. I answer people's questions that they haven't asked. It's like the part in the scriptures where the person had a question and he was sitting on a bench and he had a question, and guess what? Lo and behold, a messenger of God came and answered that question. And actually, it might not have been a messenger from God up above, but a messenger down below. Not the evil one, but someone like you and me, okay? Like someone that comes into your life and gives you the words of advice that you needed, or the pick-me-up that you needed, the thing that you needed to keep you going, or to answer a question. It happens. It happens in a bad way too, okay? And I don't want to even get into that story. I'll just say, in a very short version of this story, it was a friend of mine I hadn't seen in a long, long, long time, and it was a girl. And I lifted up my head and I just said it out loud. I said her name, and that I wanted to see her. Within a week, I saw her. Okay? So, be careful what you wish for. Because I really shouldn't have wished for that. Because, yeah, we had quite a history, and a dangerous one. And I didn't need that in my life, and she probably didn't need me in her life, and it just shouldn't have happened. So, when you speak out there, there's good and bad angels, or maybe they just supplied me with what I asked for. But, I kind of needed protecting from her. I mean, I took care of myself, but not because she wasn't trying. Let's see. I didn't say that right, but she had it in for me. And I didn't know it. She wasn't letting me know. But I knew enough from the things she was saying to change the subject. I just kept changing the subject. And I ended up safe that night. And the people at home waiting when we got there were so surprised to see that I was safe, because they knew that she intended to tear me up. Okay? So, I have God with me, and He did protect me. And there's lots of stories to go with that. I need to write. See, I need index cards so I can just write these little blips of stuff so I can do a story on them, because there's massive stories. Oh my goodness. Things I haven't thought about in years, you know. Some of them you don't really want to think about. But it is interesting to know when you're being protected. I think I might have told this in a different video, but I'm going to tell it again, just in case you don't see the other one. I was out dancing one night. There was this place over in Portland that would stay open until 5 o'clock in the morning. They quit serving alcohol at 2, so that gave you a time. You know, you could keep dancing and keep having fun. You didn't have to search for another place to go. And so then by the time 3 hours had happened, you know, you're not intoxicated anymore, and you can go out and have breakfast and not have to get tickets and stuff like that. But that's beside the point. The point was, I was there dancing, and I was on the dance floor, and I love to dance, and under normal circumstances I would never stop dancing and go off the dance floor. You know, so I didn't like the song, and that, you know, that could have been a thought that I had. But the thing that happened was no sooner than I got back to my table, which wasn't all that far away from where I'd been dancing. You know, I just went out a little ways. This gigantic chandelier fell right where I was dancing, okay? Another time I would have been dead. And I didn't hear a voice say, you know, get off the dance floor, you're in danger. I just moved off the dance floor. I just stopped dancing and walked off the dance floor. So I would say it was less than 20 feet that I was dancing, and that chandelier fell. Oh my God, it was humongous. So, you know, it was just one. There's been others. There's other, and here, I'm going to tell you another little miracle. I think it's a miracle. Okay. And if I say it again in another paper, just forgive me, because I just want to make sure I say it somewhere. I lived up on a mountain, 500 acres. I know I've mentioned that before. And the guy ran cattle. And at one time of the year, every year, the cows are having babies, okay? All the cows are having babies. And me and my friend, my boyfriend, came home. And this is up there, you know, it's down a dirt road to get to my place, and the road goes right down in the middle of my place. And it's not my place, I was just renting it. But the guy that's running the cattle, he's over there across the street with the cow that's had a baby. And so we go over there, and the calf is like dead, okay? It hasn't come alive. And my boyfriend at the time and the guy that ran the cattle, they were both kicking that poor calf in the head. I mean, kicking it, trying to get it to come alive, right? Well, I was being very empathetic, if you know that word. I am an empath. I don't know if you know what that means. That'll be a story for another day. But I leaned down and touched that calf's nose with my fingers and my hand. You know, I just leaned down and touched him ever so gently. And he stood straight up. From dead to standing. Straight up. No wobbling and stuff like that. I'm telling you, I electrified that thing. and he was a big calf, and that's why they thought he wasn't going to come to, you know, but that's just a little something to remember. You know, it's electrifying. I've got the power in me, and you can have it too, okay? And it's not witchcraft. It's, and I do call it magic, but it's from above, okay? I get my power from the Lord. And we all can develop gifts with our faith. And I'm just enjoying talking, okay, because I am kind of in a lonely mode, I think. I'm feeling alone. But it's a good outlet. It's a real good outlet to be able to talk. And hopefully I just stay on course and don't say bad things. I say things that people don't like and people don't understand too, because you can be at different levels of understanding. When you come into the church and you're baptized, you're still a babe. There is so much to learn. I'm out here on the back porch with a street right there. I shouldn't be doing that. I should go in I need a little studio. I need to make me one. And I'm going to take care of that. Ow. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm bouncing all over the place. I laid my elbow down and it fell. And a dog just left. I don't know who it was. Anyway, I almost brought my car with me, but I just didn't know if I would make it. Just got over 200,000 miles. But it would sure be nice to have a car here that I can go up and down and all around and visit who I want to. I mean, I haven't been up in this neck of the woods in years. Like I said, I left in 91, and I came back, every year for a few years. I came back once a year when I had vacation. But, that kind of ended too. And I'm telling you, every time I take a trip somewhere back then, I would break down, okay? Oh, maybe they were good reasons to break down. Maybe they stopped me from getting into trouble elsewhere. I was on my way to pick up my daughter from her dad's, but also go to my high school reunion. So I was headed there. And I was scared to go by myself. I kind of made myself as ugly as I could be. So nobody's going to mess with me. It was during a time when if you broke down on the road, there were rapists around. I mean, there was a lot of rapes and murders going on up and down the freeway. So you don't want to break down being a female by yourself. I thought about dressing up a dummy, like a scarecrow dummy in the seat next to me so it looked like I wasn't alone. But anyway, that was beside the point. I broke down, okay? My water pump went out. And guess where it went out? In a place called Bliss. Ignorance is bliss, but it was my water pump. And so, I was a ways away from the exit, and the car was overheating, so I just would let it cool off, and I'd start it up, and I'd go a little ways further, and then stop it when it was hot, which wasn't very far. So it took me a long time to get into there. But God helped me then, too. They happened to have, they were going to have to order in the part, and it would have been probably a week. And there I would have been stuck in this little town, not getting to where I got to go. Plus, it's expensive and all that stuff, and I had no money, so luckily, I shouldn't say luck, it was a blessing. And luck, I'll say both, okay? But I know where my blessings come from. Anyway, I'm going to get off my point. I broke down in Bliss. Okay, so there was a car out behind one of the stores that had the same water pump as mine. So they took it off that car and put it on mine so that I could get on the road. Now that's a blessing. And they didn't charge me. I broke down another time. Jessica was with me that time. And it was, I was on my way back home from being in Washington, going back to Texas. And we actually did make it to the exit on this one. But it was the timing chain, timing belt, whatever it was, it quit. Okay? I was hoping it was fuses. Anyway, so it was in the middle of the night, so me and Jesse, we just locked the doors and slept in the seats, and I woke up to police officers. And they told us where to go, and not sure how we got down there because the car didn't run. Maybe they took us down there. There was a McDonald's at the end of the exit. And I spent a while calling people, anybody and everybody, and this was a week. They couldn't get anything in. And I couldn't wait a week. I was supposed to be to work the next day. I had just enough money to get home. I always fly by the seat of my pants. And this was years ago, okay? Years ago. But I might have been around 40, though, by then. So I moved to Texas when I was 36. Anyway, we lucked out. Didn't hurt there was 2 females, okay? And Jessica she was probably 17 maybe, 16, 17, 18, I don't know. She was 15 when we moved to Texas, and it was after we'd been there for a while. But anyway, this guy told me that people don't help people. He says, you don't know how lucky you are. Anyway, let me see if I can remember what he did. He put on the timing belt. I paid for the timing belt. I paid him. He used it on his account, okay, because he was a mechanic. He put it on his account, and I paid him for the cost of the belt. He didn't charge me to put it on, and then he spent that money I gave him on pizza and fettuccine. So, I mean, I call that a blessing, too. I got flies again. I mean, now I'm in a whole different area. I'm at my dad's house, and I just had a fly bomb me. They love me. I think I have light exuding out of me. That's another story. I have seen my aura. I have seen my aura in pictures. Once upon a time, I had a really, really, really dark tan. It was a Utah tan. Washington tan, I'm more red. In Utah, I'm more golden brown. I don't know why there's a difference, but there is. But anyway, my second husband met up with me. We were not married anymore, but we met up. I don't know if I lived there anymore. Anyway, point is, we got together, and we went into one of those photo booths, okay? And his tan was just like mine. We both were dark, and so it took 4 pictures. And then in those pictures, you could see the light shining out of me. And he had his tan, but I didn't have a tan. I was glowing. It was weird. Very weird. And I've seen my aura one other time, too. Well, that wasn't really an aura. That was light coming out of me, okay? Out of my eyes, out of my face. And I don't have those pictures to show right now, but I've got them in my head. The other time, I was obsessed by this guy named Marco. Obsessed bad. And I think it's because he probably put a spell on me. I'm not kidding. However, it didn't all the way work. But I was definitely obsessed for a very long time. And I forget what the word was, what I was trying to say about all that. He's one that thought I was a witch. And I did. This is a whole different subject because I know I lost the other subject, but I was living in Texas, okay? And so I would make it a point to see him every time I come up here. And I had this globe that I had gotten. I'm not sure where I got it. It was a small globe, and it was in Italian. All the writing was in Italian. It was cute. It was not real small, but, not big. Anyway, I decided that I was going to take that and give it to him because he was Italian, and I just had the impression to give it to him, okay? So, when I did meet up with him and I gave it to him, he was like beside himself because he had been wishing for a globe. Now, he was up here in Washington and I was living in Texas, and we really were not in contact. It would be telecommunications, my friend. I don't know if you guys can hear me if I'm talking too low. There was magic. There was a lot of magic up here in Washington. I experienced it. I had dreams that told me things that had already happened. I had dreams that I had deja vu a lot. Oh my God. I was working at a thing called the Halloween Shop. I was the manager and getting bit. So part of my job, I had to do the hiring, interviewing, hiring, scheduling, setting up the store, all kinds of stuff, inventory, and setting it up for just a short period of time. But inside, one of the years I did it was inside Sears. So this is where that happened. I had deja vu. Oh my God. So every day I had to dress up in a costume, okay? And these people came up to me and started a conversation. And every single bit of that conversation I knew immediately. It was like, it had happened either in my dream the night before, or I don't really know how all this deja vu stuff happens, but I had a lot of deja vu up here in Washington. I had a lot of things happen up here. And it seemed like when I left, the magic wasn't with me. And maybe it was also because my head was in a bad place, okay? I've had a lot of time in a bad place. So, heartbreak sometimes. Things really get you all messed up. Life in general gets you messed up. Neighbors get you messed up. It's really Satan and his little gang. It is. They're on your shoulder telling you all kinds of bad things, making you think bad things. Poor people. There's so many people. I don't understand schizophrenia. I had a customer once that was, and someone was playing a prank on me when they gave me her as a customer. I had no idea what I was in for. And every 2 weeks I went to her house, took my life into my own hands, really, because she was crazy. She had her stuffed animals locked in the closet. They were all talking to her. I mean, there was weird things. She was really off the deep end, okay? But I didn't know that when I first started that. I'm just saying, that's one of the things I did learn from a customer. She tried to get all hot and heavy with me, saying that, she buys from me and I better listen to her and blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, that's not how that works. No, I'm doing you a favor. You are my customer because I'm doing you a favor, not because I'm not hardly benefiting at all by the time all is said and done. Basically, I wasted my time with someone that I couldn't penetrate anyway, and I wasn't trying to. And I'm talking about their brain, okay? Don't get carried away. There's different kinds of penetration. I want to permeate. Do you guys know what permeate means? I want to permeate the world with the love of Christ, okay? I want you guys to know about the love of Christ. And yeah, so many of you, I would say even me too, but not, but we all need love. And so many people don't know how to show it. And they're so busy trying to take care of paying the bills that they forget what they're doing it for. Why are you paying the bills? Why are you working so hard for it? It's for your family. And if you are not there to be with your family and you treat your family crappy, then I don't know if that's an oxymoron, but it seems like it fits. Or even like a paradox. I don't know how that, I'd have to look up the description of that. But anyway, what is it? You cut your nose off to spite your face. I'm not saying it right, but hopefully you're getting my point. You try so hard, and then you forget what the true thing it is you're fighting for. And you've got to take care of that. You've got to take care of your love. for your mate, for your children, for your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, and then all you people out there. But, serious, if we learn to love God. I used to not worry, but I did not like the word worship. Okay, like bow down and worship is what I thought. But no. I mean, I haven't seen it recently. Maybe they changed it, but when I looked up the definition, maybe it was in an encyclopedia or in a world dictionary or something. The meaning of worship is to love. And when I realized that, then I have no problem loving the Lord. I have a problem bowing down and worshiping at his feet. I've always had a problem with that. Now, I've even pictured him on a throne. I've seen him on a throne, either in my imagination or a dream or whatever, maybe when I was a child. I'm going to tell you another miracle, okay? This is going to be a land of miracles. I was a child. I don't even think I was 4 years old. Mom and Dad lived over this propane plant that my dad worked for. And I was little. In fact, we had won, me and my brother, I think it was even me, I'm not sure, but I had won a Corvette. A little one that ran off of a lawnmower motor. Anyway, I remember riding it upstairs, around and around. So we must have lived kind of like a warehouse up there or something, because I don't know where I would be able to ride that upstairs. Now, as I got off the trail of that whole thing, the miracle. Something started on fire one night. Something in the neighborhood was on fire. And so we were getting ready to evacuate. And I remember being in the back of the truck while they were loading stuff. They were trying to load things into the truck. And Mom said I prayed for rain. I'm serious. I wasn't even 4. I might have been 3. But I prayed for rain. And she said the sky opened up and poured, and the fire was put out. Okay. There's power in faith and power in children, and we need to take care of our babies. And I miss that. I didn't do a very good job. I did a good job in a lot of ways, okay? But I did bad in others. But we are all a product of our environment. And we are all, what do they say, the nut doesn't fall far from the tree. My daughter is a beautiful, wonderful person. And she got that from me. So, she has said before, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. That's the truth. And that's the same sentiment about this life, okay? Coming here, I really, when I was young, I thought it was supposed to be wonderful. Of course, my role models was my mom and dad, and they were in love. So, I mean, even though they had maybe a fight here and there or whatever, everybody does, they were in love. And so, and the church was there, and that's love, and it was all-encompassing. Our life was all-encompassing in the church, but it was a good thing. When you look back, it was a very, very, very good thing. I can't complain. I would have complained that, I couldn't go out and do things with my friends. I couldn't go to concerts and stuff, but I was a kid. I did go to one concert before I got married. I forget what it was. Chicago. I don't know if it was Chicago. Doesn't matter. I went to a concert anyway with my girlfriends. And I got off the subject, so I forget what it is I'm talking about. But it made me cry. It was my daughter, because that's usually what makes me cry. It's because we love them, deep love. You don't cry. You don't have tears falling out of your eyes just on, I don't, not on demand. I mean, it takes great emotional, something very emotional, making those tears come out. And at church, when the Spirit touches me, I cry. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that make you cry. It's not because you're sad all the time. I cried over my daughter because I was worried about her. So worried. And helpless and hopeless. I don't know about all you other people out there, but I imagine there's probably a few. I mean, single mothers have it rough. Really, you do. You need to be strong. You need somebody strong to help you out. You need to make sure it's not a jerk. Don't put your kids in the hands of jerks. Protect your babies. Okay. I didn't get on here to do all this. I did get on here to ramble, I guess. It's just, I am a people person. And I do like to talk. And I feel like I got something to say. I always want to leave on a good note, and usually I don't want to leave. I still have one more paper that I haven't done. And maybe I'll preface that, and then maybe I'll do that. I'll preface it on its own. I'll do it on its own. But I'll tell you what the name of it is. So one last one that I need to do, I think, is To My Dear Neighbor. I'm going to get off here because I've already gone way too long, okay? But I will work on that. I'll get that done, and I'll tell about that. There's a story that goes with that, too. Okay, you guys have a great day, and pardon me when I get emotional. And it makes me cry. I won't even watch me get emotional after I did the video, and I watch it back, and I'm crying in the video. I'm crying with me, so I don't know how you guys are doing. But anyway, have a good one.